Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well and thanks for being here. So this is another timeless reading that's for somebody out there. My intention is that it will find the person or people it's meant for and at the right time. It's definitely not intended to be for everyone, so if the storyline that's emerging is not resonating with you, it's probably not for you. You can still watch the whole reading because it's always an intention of mine that anyone who's drawn to one of my readings will gain something from it. Whether that's an insight, a bit of wisdom, or just to see just an opportunity to see things from a different perspective. So if you happen to be here, I think you are meant to be here. Before we start the reading, we'll just quickly do a love pause. So the love pause is where we pause the video and we send love out into the universe. If you prefer, you can do it as a little Ho'oponopono prayer instead. So that's where you say the 4 sentences: thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, and please forgive me. So thanks to everyone who does do the love pause. The time to pause is now and the reading will start on the next slide. Okay, so this here is the spread for this reading. If you're interested in the decks that I've used, they'll be listed in the description box. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Temperance card, which is a Sagittarius card, and it's about balance, moderation, and patience. I always tend to see it as a very self-caring, self-honoring energy to be in because it's about someone who's basically staying away from anything that's too extreme. So if it ever feels like it's getting too extreme, they'll just get themselves back towards the middle, towards the state of balance. So that's a really lovely card. The Ace of Pentacles was also there at the bottom of the deck, just behind the Temperance card. So I did feel like I should take it. The Ace of Pentacles is, of course, about a new opportunity in the material world, one that has potential for growth and abundance. Now I'm noticing the 2 stars on this card, on these 2 cards, and actually looking at the whole spread, the whole tarot spread at the bottom, you can see there are actually a lot of stars. So I feel like that's going to be significant. Now getting back to these 2 cards at the bottom of the deck, the Temperance card has a 6-pointed star on it, which is actually what we know as the Star of David. And obviously it's comprised of 2 interlocking triangles, and that's shown very clearly in this image. Now I'm looking at the 2 triangles, and the fact that they were shown in different colours did remind me of the fact they can symbolize the masculine and the feminine. And because they're shown in black and white, that also reminds me of the yin-yang symbol. So this could well be a twin flame reading. But the other thing I saw, because these triangles are shown differently, is that these are actually the symbols for the elements of fire and water. So I was surprised to make that connection here, but perhaps this is about a twin flame couple where the masculine is a fire sign and the feminine is a water sign. Now, obviously, the masculine and feminine labels that I'm using here are not about gender. They're just about the energies that people carry. Now, there's a star also on the Ace of Pentacles card, as I said, and this is the 5-pointed star. And it's forming part of the pentacle that's shown. But obviously, this is also the symbol of the pentagram, which is also a symbol about balance in the same way that the yin-yang symbol is. So the yin-yang symbol is about the balance between yin and yang, the masculine and feminine energies. But the pentagram is about the balance of the 5 elements, and what they are the 4 earthly elements, so earth, water, air and fire, and then the element of spirit forms the 5th element. So because both of these stars have given us messages relating to balance. So if we're talking about a twin flame reading, this is either about a twin flame couple who are in balance, or it's about one of the twin flame counterparts who's achieved a state of inner balance between their masculine and feminine energies. I mentioned all of those stars earlier, and I feel like that has to be significant. We've got 9 stars on the 9 of Pentacles card, and then 9 stars on the star card as well. So the number 9 could be significant for someone. But anyway, the 9 of Pentacles card is in the past position. It speaks of someone who's independent and successful. And as you can see in the background here, there are all these ripe grapes that are growing on their vines. And that's interesting because the first oracle card we've got also has a message, sweet success. Doesn't that fit nicely with the image of ripe grapes? But anyway, getting back to the sweet success card, it's related to the goddess Ocean, who is the Yoruba goddess of beauty, love, fertility, wealth, prosperity, and water. So wealth and prosperity and fertility, that's all fitting in nicely with the Nine of Pentacles imagery there. But also strong divine feminine energy coming from this card. The fact that she's the goddess of water is also reminding me of how we were talking about a divine feminine energy that was coming through as a water sign. So I feel like this ocean card might actually be confirming that. Now, from this first deck, there were actually two cards that came out together. So in addition to ocean, we got Rhiannon with the message inner strength. But seeing these two cards side by side, I was struck by the images here. The sun is behind, we have behind ocean, we have the sun, and then we have the moon behind Rhiannon. And again, the sun and the moon are symbols of the masculine and the feminine as well. So what we were getting about fire and water signs, we could actually be talking about Leo and Cancer specifically, because they are actually signs that are ruled by the sun and the moon. So Leo is a fire sign that's ruled by the sun, and Cancer is a water sign that's ruled by the moon. So that's an incredible synchronicity there. And now that I've said Leo, I'm actually noticing how Ocean, she looks like she's in a setting where we would expect to see a lion, and she's dressed in gold. She's got gold clothing, gold jewelry. She's got hair that looks, like a mane, and there's this wild golden grass behind her, which, you could easily imagine a lion in that setting. So definitely there's strong Leo energy coming from that card. So I don't think I'm mistaken in getting that from that card. Now, Rhiannon, for those who don't know who she is, she's from Welsh mythology, and she's described as the goddess of horses. So we do have a horse here in this image. Now, from these two cards, we're getting different regions of the world. Yoruba relates to West Africa, and Wales is obviously in the UK. Rhiannon's also the song title of a very famous song by Fleetwood Mac from the 70s. And the horse here is also making me think of the year of the horse in the Chinese zodiac. And I actually happen to be a 1970s year of the horse. So I know that 1978 was a horse year. And the cycle's 12 yearly. So, but it's based on the Chinese lunar year, which obviously switches over January, February. So it's not quite the 12 months of 78. It's sort of maybe 11 months of 78 and 1 month of 79. But anyway, because of the fact, I just looked it up actually, Rhiannon was from 1975. So can you believe that's 50 years ago? But anyway, maybe this is for someone who's born between 1975 and maybe the start of 1979 because of that Chinese lunar year connection. And I've just been assuming we're talking about masculine, feminine with these zodiac signs, but it just also dawned on me that Leo and Cancer could also be talking about someone's sun sign and someone's moon sign. So sun sign Leo and moon sign Cancer. So maybe that's what we're talking about here. I'm seeing a lot of feminine energies here, so I really am starting to think this reading is for the divine feminine in a twin flame relationship. I should also say, in terms of timing, it just came to me as well that this is meant to be a timeless reading, but at the time I'm going to upload this, we've just had the Cancer full moon, so that links quite strongly to the full moon behind Rhiannon, because I was already thinking of the sign of Cancer because it's ruled by the moon. So anyway, strongly feeling like this is about the feminine twin. But the point that came through in the bottom of the deck message is that this twin has balanced out their feminine and masculine energies. So even though they were originally carrying their feminine energy and they might have identified with that energy, they are now fully balanced. So they're like an ascended twin flame now, really. All right, moving into the present position, we have the Champion of Wands, which is the Knight of Wands in this deck. And this is about pursuing what inspires you. I tend to see the Knight of Wands as a Sagittarian energy. And obviously we got Sagittarius at the bottom of the deck as well. And the Sagittarian energy is also drawing me into that third oracle card because it's titled Trader. just because of the image on that. So Sagittarius relates to the ninth house in astrology, which is the one that includes travel and exploration. And so this trader here looks like someone you'd encounter in an overseas marketplace somewhere selling things. And of course, I'm saying an overseas marketplace because I'm speaking from an Australian perspective. But with these Sagittarian travel energies, there might be some opportunities for travel coming in. But when I was writing the words trader and selling something in a market overseas, I in my brain the words kind of switched around to trading in overseas markets. So that could mean someone who trades perhaps in international shares, which of course is relatively easy to do these days. But then it also then came to me that this could actually be about someone who is selling their products in overseas markets. So that sweet success message might be about someone's business experiencing an international expansion. So they might go from a modest success in their own country to becoming something that achieves global recognition. The message on the trader card is exchange energy to create abundance. Sorry, I just had to pause the video for a minute, but I think I was talking about the trader card. So the message on the trader card is exchange energy to create abundance. So I do feel like this person's abundance will grow significantly as they start reaching customers or clients in different parts of the world. And going back to my first thought, I guess that might involve a lot of traveling to different parts of the world as well. We've definitely had some interesting locations in this reading already with West Africa and Wales. And what I get from that is traveling to places that aren't your typical holiday destinations. So this is someone traveling to interesting places for a specific work-related purpose maybe. And now I'm thinking about all the stars that were in the tarot, and I'm picturing all the international flags that have stars on them. And of course, the Star of David is even on the Israel flag. So it could just all be indicating multiple locations that this person will be traveling to, lots of different countries. And now I just saw the big star on the star card looking like a compass. So it's got all the points showing us all the different directions that this person might be traveling in. And I have to admit that I wasn't sure where the last oracle card was going to fit into the storyline until now. So this card is titled Dragonfly, and it has the keywords adaptability, presence, and acceptance, and the message be present in the moment and enjoy the journey. Personally, I tend to see dragonflies as symbols of transcendence and emergence because they do start their lives in water before they become flying insects. But getting back to the keywords on this card, which were, adaptability, presence, and acceptance, I can definitely see all of those relating to someone who travels all over the world and has to deal with people from a lot of different cultures. And as I said that, I just saw how we have three characters of different ethnic backgrounds in the top row of the cards. So I think wherever this person goes, they will need to be adaptable and accepting of the customs and cultural traditions of that place. And they're being advised to actually fully engage with those experiences. And there are two reasons for that showing up here in this oracle cards. The first is that by being fully present in those experiences, they will enjoy themselves a lot. And the second is basically what that trader card is talking about, that if they're engaging fully with the people and cultures they're dealing with, they're going to attract more abundance. So the energy exchange aspect is an important element in terms of how successful they're going to be. And I thought I was done, but I just realized I haven't touched on the last tarot card, which is the star card, and that's an Aquarius card, and it's in the future position. So the star card is about someone recovering from something traumatic. It's a card of healing and hopeful optimism about the future. So this reading hasn't really been about someone healing from trauma. And so I think what this card is saying is that this person is a healer. And in the image, I'm seeing someone pouring from their cup of love, I guess, and it actually looks like they're pouring milk. And milk's actually a very soothing substance. It soothes, it soothes a hungry baby. It relieves heartburn. It eases the discomfort if someone's eaten something too spicy, and it can even be applied to burns to the skin, just for that calming, soothing effect. Now, this person's energy, I guess, is like that. It's like milk. It's soothing. It helps people who are suffering. It eases their suffering. It helps them recover. And I'm also seeing how that big star is centered right in between the throat and the heart chakras. So I feel like that's saying that this person speaks from their heart. They heal with their words. They know the words that people need to hear because their heart understands other people's pain. The man in the Trader card also has his hand over his heart space in a gesture that's very much like someone saying, I get it. I know how you feel. So I guess then that all the travel this person does might relate to this in some way. So maybe their work involves helping people who are traumatized. Now, I wasn't expecting that because I was thinking earlier they had some kind of business, but maybe it's not a business. Maybe this person is a healer and they're invited to run certain programs or workshops around the world. And the abundance they experience perhaps isn't money as such. It could be more that they're well looked after in exchange for what they do. So maybe they're flown to these different locations. Maybe they get flights, accommodation, meals, and so on, all provided by the organisers or sponsors who are responsible for the events. And of course, it could be that they're treated very well as a result. So they could always be flying in business class and staying in nice hotels, or maybe they get invited to stay in nice homes as a guest. And they might always, given the nature of their work, they might always have someone who accompanies them as their local guide or interpreter. So the abundance might just seem like VIP treatment because they're doing something that's seen as very special. So that's been quite an interesting reading. And here we are on our last slide. So as I mentioned before, the decks I used today are listed in the description box. Some of these decks will have Amazon links next to them. You can use these links to check the decks out, but they're also affiliate links. So that means that if you click on the link and then purchase the deck, I could earn a small commission for the deck purchase. Now the link here should take you to the most appropriate Amazon site for your location, and from your perspective the affiliate link has no impact because you will just pay the Amazon price and you still have access to all your normal shipping deals. Now the link is actually only valid for 24 hours unless the item's added to your cart. So if you're thinking of using the links that I've provided, you can just add the item to your cart while you're considering it, and then obviously if you change your mind you can always remove it from your cart. Now, if you are wanting to use my links, there's some extra information in the description box, so please check that out as well. Now, all of my older videos were updated, so the deck list is always in the description box, even if I haven't mentioned it in the video. If you're still here and watching, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel, liking the video, or leaving a comment. And for those of you who are already subscribed, thank you so much for your ongoing support. Now take care everyone, and I hope I'll see you all again in a future video. Bye.